I got an interesting event coming up. I'm 28 years old right now, and I have my 10-year high school reunion coming up in
Oh, I
August.
had mine, I think last year? Was it last year? It
Did
was last year.
Did you go?
Yeah, I had 2 of them technically. I went to the one for Morgantown, but I did not go for the one for Preston County.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which high school did you graduate from?
I graduated from Preston. I just
Okay,
was in Morgantown for longer, so I knew all those people
that
way
makes sense.
longer
Yeah,
than Preston County.
I was in the same school system my entire childhood, so it'll be interesting. I don't talk to a ton of people. I have friends from high school that I talk to. I not very many of them are actually going. It's gonna be mostly people I haven't seen in, uh 5 to 10 years. We had like we didn't have a 5-year reunion because of COVID, but there was like a little 6-year one that I didn't go out of my way to attend, but I was already in town. So I swung by and hung out for a little bit. And that was like fine, I guess. But I think
Yeah.
this will be neat. A lot of people have kids now.
Good lord.
Uh yeah, a lot of people I just haven't seen in a long time. It'll be neat to check in. What was yours like?
Well, we actually had it at the high school. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it was, like, real nostalgic walking through the halls of a high school I haven't seen in almost 13 years. It's, like,
Yeah, that'd be
crazy.
weird.
It's like back in my day, there used to not be a fence there, so we could just go to Pizza Hut, you know?
Yeah. Ours is
So,
gonna be in, like, this millennial bar in Charleston, I think. Or at least that's what I don't actually know what the bar is like, but that's what the vibe I get from the name of it
the
is.
vibe is
I'm not gonna
millennial bar.
dox where it is, but yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm trying to get some of my friends to go that I talk to because, like, I don't know. I know a lot of people that didn't really like high school, and I'm one of them, but I think it's interesting, to see how people have grown up, you know? I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't dislike high school. I wasn't, like, bullied or anything like that. I don't have disdain for my former classmates or anything. I just didn't enjoy it, and I was excited to get out of there.
yeah,
But now, like, I have a life that I've built, and I'm excited to see what everybody else has going on.
it's never anything. No one else has anything going on.
I did run into, and this is not like a brag or anything. This actually kinda bummed me out, but I s no, no, I just I hope everybody's doing well, is what I'm trying to say. I don't wanna, like, dunk on anybody, but and I'm trying to find a way to say it in a way, but, like, I feel like
Nah,
I'm doing really well, and I'm excited about it.
I
I like where my
I
life is at right
I'm
now.
on the opposite spectrum. They're like, "Yeah, I teach at the high school. I'm engaged. I have 3 kids," and I'm sitting here like, I do a podcast where I talk about video games, and am single. Well, at the time, I
Everybody is
wasn't
gonna have
single.
that on me.
Yeah,
I am chronically single. I
yeah.
am nowhere near having a family or kids or anything,
Yeah,
so
at the
they'll have that
time,
one
I
on me.
wasn't single, but, like, the vibe was there. Like, everyone else is like, "Meet my fiancé." I'm like, I'm embarrassed.
Well, don't worry. They'll all be divorced at the 20 year, you know?
Yeah, probably. I can only hope. I can only hope to be that bitter.
You can only hope.
But
Uh, Hey, welcome to Game Talk. I'm your host today, Connor, and I'm joined by Mike.
hello.
No Ahmed today. I don't remember where he said he was going. You can't keep up with that guy these days. Always on the move.
I think he's in, like, Disney or something. I know there's a picture I saw on his Instagram, he was sitting next to Squidward, and
I
that's
saw a
that's
picture.
about
I
it.
thought it was labeled Mall of America, but I thought that was in DC, which is where he lives. So I have no idea where he
I
is.
thought Mall of America was in, like, Indiana. I don't
You
know
might be
where he's
right.
at. Somewhere wherever it was, there was a bench with Squidward on it.
He's Ahmed abroad. That's
Yeah,
all I
he's
know.
somewhere. He's somewhere out there.
But you had a topic you wanted to
So
discuss today, right, Mike?
so recently, Steam delisted something like 100 plus adult games. And
Yes.
normally I'd be like, "Ah, whatever, it's adult games." But the method in which they were pushed off the platform is what really bugs me.
And
So
what method is that?
it was a collective action group pushing payment processors to remove games that did quote unquote child abuse. which
Oh,
honestly, that's not what's happening with these games. Steam at least moderates to that amount. They actually,
yeah.
took off a game because hidden in the files, there was, like, a little bit of, like, a dubious 18 under 18 situation, and they took the game off the market until they got rid of that file. Like, a single file that
Yeah.
was cut content. So,
S
it was a dubious collection of pushing these things off by payment processors, oddly enough, which I don't necessarily agree with because there's a slippery slope there that we have started. Because who's to deign that, say, some watchdog group out there could say to payment providers and put enough pressure on them that, they get rid of, say, something that they find taboo. It's like any kind of dark storytelling, any kind of like LGBTQIA plus storytelling, any kind of that, there's a slippery slope there. I never thought I'd be sitting here defending porn games on Steam, but I
So I
am.
do have a problem with your phrasing, which is that there is a well-known, logical fallacy known as the slippery slope
Yeah, there is a
fallacy.
slippery slope fallacy. It does set a precedent though, and it's
It does set a
terrifying
precedent.
because it
I
doesn't
will
matter which
say
country, the payment processors behoove them all.
yeah. I will say that I am genuinely just kind of for porn games getting taken off of Steam. I just don't think it's the place for them.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's less the porn games, like, I don't care, honestly, a lot of those are probably slop anyway, but
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
precedent that this group can push payment providers to just take things they don't agree with off of Steam,
Right,
and
so there's another example I mentioned to you in the chat. I remember this is a few years ago, I think, maybe 2021, 2022, but, OnlyFans was getting big,
yeah.
and there was a big push from the credit card payment processors. They did not they threatened to pull, payment processing from OnlyFans because of the adult content on it, and
So
I don't really agree with things like that.
yeah.
I'm not a Puritan in that way.
So
Is that the right
here's
use of that
yeah,
word?
Puritan, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, here's where it gets kinda weird, right? So, there was a Vice article, like, people did some digging, found the group was this radical feminist group from Australia called Collective Shout, which
Mhm.
on its surface isn't really a bad thing
Right.
necessarily, but further digging through this Vice article that actually got taken down and the writer resigned from Vice because of it, that group also has links to several super, super, like, puritanical anti-porn groups who are
Yeah.
also responsible for a lot of, like, the OnlyFans push back when Pornhub cut, like, 95% of their content. A lot of these groups have had a lot of major power in pushing payment processors to take anything they like n off, and that's still very dangerous. And what this is
Yeah.
the weird point where I'm like, "You know what? These, like, basement dwelling gamer types really have a point here, and this is dangerous."
I mean, this is really strange too because I think there's always an argument against traditional pornography.
Yeah.
This is a crazy topic for this show.
It's
Um,
nuts. I didn't
but
expect I'd be
there's
so
always an
prepared.
argument, and I'm at risk of jumping in way over my head on this. I'm a guy who plays video games and talks about it on the internet, but my understanding is that with traditional adult content that has, like, real human actors and everything, there is always a pretty high risk of exploitation, and you, the consumer of that content, would not necessarily know that there was exploitation happening,
Yeah.
and that sucks, that's really bad. That isn't really the case for an adult video game, I don't
It's
think, like,
it's
the
not the
odds of someone
case
having
for any video
because there's
game,
no actual
really.
sex happening. Yeah,
Yeah, like,
there's no
this digging into Collective Shout a little bit more, they're also, like, vehemently against, like, Lara Croft. One of their co-founders has written several essays on how Lara Croft produces, bad children or whatever.
I
I
mean, if
might
you
be
wanna sit around
paraphrasing,
and
but
write
it's
your essays
it's
that Laura
so
Croft is anti-feminist, I think you're well within your right
yeah,
to
you're
do
within your
so.
right to do so, but at the same time,
But
like, you
once you try
shouldn't
to weaponize,
weaponize it.
payment processors,
Yeah,
yeah. Especially, like, modern Laura Croft has her issues as a character, certainly,
yeah.
but, she's a far cry from original Laura Croft that I
Yeah.
would say was
It's
pretty bad.
also this weird I think some of these groups were also responsible for the big push that GTA is like GTA promotes the exploitation of women when, it's a sandbox game and there's no real mechanic. There's like maybe the prostitute mechanic in there, but that's it. The rest of it's a sandbox game.
Yeah.
You aren't specifically rewarded for targeting a certain gender. In fact, the game doesn't give you anything for shooting anybody other than
It's also
money.
a rated M
Yeah,
game.
it's a
It's
rated M
not
game. It's an
supposed
open
to be
world crime
played.
simulator. You just go out, like, that's part of its charm is you could just go out there and fight the police, you know?
Yeah. I think the only crime you could possibly get GTA for is not necessarily making its protagonists, like, strictly horrible people.
Yeah.
Like, try I think if maybe they've done a too good a job of humanizing, a protagonist that commits mass murder, I
Yeah,
think,
I mean,
but
that's GTA, though. It's a crime
yeah, that's
story. It's a crime
GTA.
story.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah,
criminal
yeah.
openly and wholeheartedly, and the game supports you just going out there and just murdering as many police officers as you can because you found the infinite ammo cheat code, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's just
definitely would
normal.
not.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna fault it for putting those mechanics, any kind of mechanics in there, because it's the kind of game it is.
Yeah.
Like, this kinda ties into a deeper censorship because there's always people that want to censor art. Art has always
Yes.
been something that is tried to be censored. And right now we're seeing, like, the fringes, like, "Oh, it's adult entertainment, it doesn't really belong, it's corrupting the youth." But where does that go once they run out of that enemy? Because with our current climate and everything, and I don't really wanna get too political, but this is inherently it's like our, "Do video games cause violence?" episode we did a year or 2 ago?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, inherently, censorship is something that is used to control public opinion. And what's stopping, say, another, like, super conservative watchdog group from going, "Hey, we don't like gay people in our video games. Get rid of them. Payment processors, we'll stop supporting you, we'll stop giving you money if you allow these gay games on our platform." You
You wanna
know?
hear me take this in a psychotic
Go
direction?
for it.
This is, this is one of the major advantages of cryptocurrency.
It is. Honestly, like, as
Taking
I've
taking
seen
the
crypto
I'm
bros,
not a
like
I'm not a crypto bro, but this is, and I don't think a crypto bro could coherently explain this position to you either, but,
yeah, it's like crypto's the
um,
future, man, but, like, this is
one
the
of the
one
major
case.
advantages of cryptocurrency is that it is an all digital currency that doesn't need to go through a major platform holder, for a transaction. It can do a peer-to-peer, transaction that is traced on a ledger and everything, but, there is no group that could stop me from buying porn with
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
like, it's a crazy world we live in where I think a lot of groups that are pro censorship have realized that pushing the platform to just take it down isn't gonna do anything because they're not
Right.
gonna cave. But you can go for the advertisers and the payment
Right.
processors, and the platform will cave once that money is threatened to be drying up.
Yeah, advertisers have always been, uh I mean,
And
that's why you see these YouTubers, having to bend over backwards, not
yeah,
swearing in the first minute of
it
videos.
so it and inherently, it's gonna cause this chilling effect through the entire industry where people are gonna be afraid to tackle darker topics for fear of that money drying up.
Right,
Like,
right.
Game of Thrones has incest, it has, like, sexual assault, it has all these really difficult topics in it,
Mhm.
but it's part of the story. These are told as part of the story
Right,
because
and
it
they're
just
respected.
yeah, they're respected. And to say that that's generally bad and that shouldn't exist in a property is going to harm art in a lot of ways. If you just make art just clean and sterile, you get really boring art. Look at
Yeah.
the AAA space. Like, if
And
Last of
again,
Us couldn't
diving into our, well, going way over our head, this is
yeah,
something, fascist regimes, care about a lot,
yeah,
is censoring art. They have this idea that art has to be a certain thing,
yeah, it
and
has
so
to
they
be
they put it
traditional.
in this box. It has to be this traditional, uh, this very traditional thing, and they don't it always starts with adult content, but fascist regimes typically
Yeah,
to, any modern art,
they hate modern
they
art.
lash out against. Anything that is not immediately understandable,
And
uh
you're seeing it in the gaming space. You're seeing these, like, actual people who are pushing so hard against what is basically art. Like,
and to be clear, I'm not accusing
but
this
it's
this group Just the Shout. What are they
The
called again?
Collective Shout. It's an
The Collective
Australian
Shout.
group.
I'm not calling them fascists.
Yeah, I'm not
I
calling them
am
fascists.
making a comparison. But
I will openly say that I think a lot of them are trans exclusionary, but that's
that
that's a
wouldn't
different thing.
surprise
That
me.
doesn't
But
surprise
yeah,
me. Usually, if
yeah.
it's not an American feminist group, usually they're gonna be TERFs. It's
Really,
yeah, the UK and Australia are really bad about being trans exclusionary.
I didn't know that. I'm not
There's a
plugged into
whole yeah,
those.
there's a whole history behind it, and most of it is because they never really had, like, a lot of big minority groups pushing to be
That's fast.
intersectional,
That's
but
fascinating
yeah.
considering the UK's punk and anarchist history.
Yeah, that's why J.K. Rowling turned out the way she did and everything, because she
Right.
was a radical feminist, but she was part of that wave that never had, like,
Yeah.
a minority group pushing for spaces that are inclusive to them as well. But
Mm,
that's a whole 'nother rabbit hole. This is
right.
still beyond the scope of our show, but
Yeah.
it is tying into all of this. It's like, what would The Last of Us be if it was this sterile piece of modern art that didn't tell any kind of story? It didn't cause any kind of heartbreak. If you don't want children harmed in a video game, what's the point of The Last of Us? Because in the first, like, 20 minutes of that game, a child dies, and it drives the
Right.
entire plot of that game.
Right.
Like, Joel's whole story
Right.
is
I mean
because his daughter
that's
died.
it's an insane line to draw in
Yeah,
media to not show depictions. Now I will take a step back and I'm pro content warning.
yeah,
Because these sorts of things can be really upsetting to certain people. I am totally pro content warning.
yeah,
But
and, like,
yeah, you have to be
you
allowed
have
to
to allow
show a
to show
child
these
being harmed in
things.
media.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
because
are important stories to tell
yeah.
that date back to the Greek myths and before that even of
Yeah, showing someone
children being harmed.
vulnerable being hurt to start a plot off is a stellar way
It's
to start a
literally a
plot.
tale as old as time.
Yeah, it's a tale as old as time. Usually it's a child, maybe it's like a dog. Like, John Wick wouldn't exist if you couldn't say you could shoot the dog. The whole movie is about his dog, you know? Someone killed his
That
dog
said,
and he got angry. But
lolly porn is where I draw the line on
yeah,
Steam for sure.
yeah, like, child porn is not allowed on Steam.
Unacceptable. Yeah,
Unacceptable. Steam
but
never would allow it. But
no.
to claim it's harming children is kind of
Yeah.
the fascist defense to say it's corrupting the youth, you know?
Yeah, and this is something. I mean, I don't think kids should be able to buy those games either.
Yeah,
Steam. There is an argument that Steam and online resources in general don't do enough in the way of age verification.
yeah,
I would argue that needing a credit or debit card to buy these things is age verification.
yeah. I think,
Uh,
like, largely there are movements in some states in America to push, like, adult content requires you to actually submit your
to
legal
submit your
ID,
ID,
and
which
I think that's a massive privacy overstep,
I agree. I
honestly,
don't know. I don't know what the actual solution is because I'm not against age restricted content.
because, like, I like my anonymity on the internet, and if I
Yeah.
had to say if I wanna open up OnlyFans, I have to provide my legal government name and driver's license ID.
Right.
That
Yeah.
that's weird. That's problematic. Like, what if I'm, like,
It is.
deep in the trenches and I don't want my name associated with that stuff, you know?
Yeah. And it's just nobody's business
Yeah,
for the
it's
most part.
no
If
one's
you're a
business.
consenting adult doing this sort of thing, it's nobody's business. I totally see that argument,
Like,
and I would generally put myself on that side,
yeah,
but at the same time, there is definitely like we don't need 13-year-olds being exposed to some of the things that you could be exposed to.
yeah. But at the
Uh,
same time, like, I'm of the opinion that having grown up in West Virginia and having gone to rural school systems, I
yeah.
can tell you that telling kids that sex is just something you should avoid, especially teenagers
Oh
in high
yeah.
school,
It's
it
not the right
it
call.
doesn't work. It's not they're not gonna
Abstinence-only
listen.
education
It
is a catastrophic
There's a
failure.
reason teen pregnancy rates are so high in rural America, and it's because we're
But
not teaching kids about, like, approaching that safely.
OnlyFans and Pornhub are not
Yeah,
solving that
they're not
problem,
solving they're
though.
making their own
Yeah.
problems to some people, but going
Yeah.
after adult content is a weird start to our whole thing, and yet
Yeah.
there's also, like, the anti, like, women gamer core that really is angry too, and this is one of the weird times where I'm looking at, like, these Gamergate nut jobs that still exist that are still fighting a battle that ended a decade ago almost.
God, was that a
And
decade ago?
almost, yeah.
God.
And being like, "Wait a second, why are we on the same side again? What's
Yeah.
happened here?"
Yeah,
But
that's a mess.
there's still radical sense of radically about censorship. It's just that anything that isn't their, like, sexy Asian lady that's weird looking, you know?
Yeah.
It's there's still censorship on both sides. It's just at some point I gotta stand for the fact that I don't want any censorship in my games. If it doesn't actively harm somebody, and if it's not racist or exploitative or anything, let it free. It's
There
art.
is also I keep throwing the term porn game around, as in porn games should not be sold on Steam, but there is a very strong counter argument to that, which is like who decides. You can't define porn. It's
Yeah.
very difficult.
And there's
Anyone who's tried, they usually end up landing on "I know it when I see it," and
yeah,
that's messy.
like,
That's beyond
how do you
messy.
how do
Like,
you define that? And it's not to say that
is the scene in God of War, is the sex scene in God of War, is that
is that
pornographic?
porn? Yeah. They're having
Eileen, no.
sex, like, there's
Yeah.
sex there.
Is Grand Theft Auto pornographic because you can go to the strip clubs? Eileen, no.
Yeah. It
Um,
It's this weird definition, and also, like, to say that porn games don't have a right to exist when some of them have, like, these insane mechanics because, the people aren't there for the mechanics, so you can just go nuts. You can just do
yeah.
some crazy mechanics there that people might never engage with, but to the outside observer, you're like, "You could do that in that game? Why?" Because the dev just didn't care. The people weren't
Yeah.
there for the mechanics, so you can get super experimental with it.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, but
It
I
came
assume
down
this
to
is
a
real.
yes, this is. It was like a Seth Zinch video about, like, a furry porn game, and he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I don't like the subject matter, I really like the game mechanics."
Dude,
Like,
furries are crazy.
yeah, it was like an RPG or
This should have
something.
been the cold open. I
Yeah.
got hit on by a furry that I think was underage, but just hard to tell because of the mask. I got hit this weekend
Was
at
it at
Techo.
Anthrocon? Or was
No, it
Anthrocon
was
the
at
other week?
Techo. Anthrocon was a while back, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. And they're still in Pittsburgh? That's crazy.
Techo, yeah, Techo was in Pittsburgh.
No, I'm meaning the furries.
Oh, the furries, I mean, furries are everywhere.
I
They
think my
have
Discord
lives, they live
crashed.
places.
No.
I was surprised at how many furries were at Techo, which is an anime con. But there were a significant number of not a significant number, but, like, a noticeable amount of people that were just in, like, sexy fursuits at
Sexy
Techo.
fursuits at Techo. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. There's a
that's
Pikachu that was just in, like, a pair of briefs, like, a pair of yellow briefs and, like, ears and a tail, and that was his Pikachu costume, like, he was naked otherwise. That was weird. He was in
that
good
sounds like
shape.
an anime.
Credit to him.
So
He for sure, like, got in shape for that, but
sounds like an anime convention to me, yeah. It's
yeah, a very horny place.
yeah, like, I'm very anti-censorship, I've always been anti-censorship,
Me too.
and to see video games being targeted yet again because, that's just the easiest market to go after nowadays. It's very
Yes.
hard to try to censor media or make it
The people
fit
in
your
power
taste.
don't care about it.
Yeah. I mean, they don't care about a lot of things anymore, honestly, they're probably parading this around as the future.
Yeah.
It's living under a panopticon where anything you do can be scrutinized is only gonna cause worse and worse damage to everyone around us. We are
Yeah.
already starting to see it with the upcoming generations of people, and it's only gonna get worse. And
Yeah.
Australia, the infamous nanny state that they are, is kind of the example with it, because you cannot enjoy a lot of things in Australia you can enjoy in other countries.
Australia has a lot of video game
Yeah, they
censorship
have a
already,
lot of
don't they?
censorship.
Yeah.
Like, Fallout had to censor a lot of, like, the drugs in it because it wouldn't sell in
Yeah.
Australia otherwise.
Australia is
It's
such a curious place for that because it started as a prison
yeah, it's a
colony.
prison colony, yet
Yeah.
they're like, "Yo, you can't have drugs here. No, violence isn't allowed in our video games." It's like Germany. Germany also has these really
Germany, yeah.
weird and out there censorship laws that I think they've recently raised up. I think China does as well. Like, China won't allow blood or skulls in any of their
Japan
games.
does too. Crash Bandicoot had to be changed significantly for its
Crash
Japanese
Bandicoot?
release. Yeah,
Like,
the death animations. You're not allowed to show someone being crushed in Japan, I think. So they
that's
had to change
crazy,
some of the.
actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to know the reasoning and the history to it, but I don't have it off the top of the
Yeah.
dome.
Like, There's a line. There's definitely a line in video games where we gotta I gotta dig my heels in and say, yes, I believe that having that furry Hitler sex 69, which I think probably exists somewhere,
Yeah.
has some right to exist, mainly because it's the funniest thing I could possibly gift to my friends when a Steam sale happens.
Yeah,
But
I mean, what would we do without Shower with Your Dad
literally,
Simulator?
what would I do without my, like, 300 plus 69-cent, like,
Yeah,
terrible visual novels that I can gift to my friends on a whim? Like, how am I
extremely true.
how am I gonna live if I can't give my stepbros a femboy to my friends for 60 cents, you know?
I just there's
Like
such a bad precedent with these, payment processors legislating,
yeah,
essentially, you know? They are essentially putting down their foot and saying, like, in place of a democratic legislation, saying, "No, you can't do this," and that's just not
yeah, and it's
cool.
country
That's too
agnostic
much
too.
it's too much centralized power.
Yeah,
You know,
and I think there's
if my
actually a federal
democratically
investigation
elected
in Japan going on Visa because of this, actually.
like, 'cause at least if it was my democratically elected officials. Now, granted, there have been studies in the US that, public opinion has a nearly negligible influence on, public policy, but at least I could write them a letter.
Yeah, you have a
There's
point.
basically
There's
I have
nothing I can
no
do.
power over Visa or
And
MasterCard.
it doesn't matter the laws in my country or your country or any
No.
country because the payment processors are ubiquitous. Everyone uses the same payment processors. Visa and MasterCard have an almost monopoly over the payment processing industry. Everything goes through them. They take a portion of it and they get very wealthy doing it.
Yeah,
And same with PayPal.
very wealthy.
They can just pull it right through there. They don't care. If they
Yeah,
don't think it's agreeable and they think it's bad with business and they get enough of an uproar and a powerful enough group comes to them and says, "We don't want that and we won't use you if you do that," they'll cave. They'll cave instantly because it's just money.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody was so, when it was OnlyFans, I remember people were up in arms because this was people's livelihoods,
Yeah.
you know, sex workers, and, they were up in arms and they were all talking to OnlyFans like it was their fault, and, like, they can't
They can't do
they
anything.
they can't operate a company if they can't collect payment.
Yeah.
They didn't really have any
Same
options.
with same with, like, Fansly, that's not allowing a lot of content either. They're starting to crack down. It's
Yeah, Patreon used to be a huge for adult content
yeah,
creators, and I don't think it is anymore
also
because they
shut
cracked
down.
down.
Same with
Yeah.
Tumblr.
Well,
Like,
I don't think anybody's ever making money off
yeah,
Tumblr.
all of these platforms have been pushed down because of advertisers and payment
Tu
processors.
Tumblr's story is a little
Yeah,
different.
Tumblr's a little different.
Tumblr had a significant child pornography
Yeah,
problem.
that's Tumblr for you. But
Yeah.
sounds about
Tumblr
right.
doesn't really fit in the same camp.
But it's like you take down these sites for people's expression, and it's kind of violating their autonomy and rights in a way.
Yeah.
Who's to stop, say, some random woman somewhere who's a consenting adult from sending pictures of herself naked to the internet for money?
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that. You might find it personally disagreeable, but we live in a free country,
Yeah, we live in
allegedly.
a free society,
Like,
yeah.
a free society, allegedly, and there's like, if I personally disagree with it, that's not my problem, it's her body. Like, what am I
Yeah.
gonna do? It doesn't matter. And to say to a payment processor, "No, I don't want that being allowed, get rid of that," and taking away their livelihood because of it, that's
Yeah.
cold. Not right, almost.
And these, you know, be people making video games in this space, they're probably not doing it because they're, like, excited about the
Yeah.
idea of their weird it's probably just a way to make ends meet.
Yeah,
These
they're
games
just
make money.
doing it for money. People will buy
Horny
it.
people will spend money, and this is a you know, I think of the, smut writers. They're not usually excited about it, but
Yeah.
it pays the bills so that they can afford to live while they're writing the things they actually care
Yeah.
about, and I think of that with game developers because it
Yeah.
is a difficult industry to make a living in, so if you can make money making your weird smut game and selling it on Steam,
You
good,
make your money. Like,
more power to
chase
you,
your
make your
dreams
money, and so
there.
you can Yeah.
Even if, like, you're somewhat into making the idea of, like, a smut game, like, good for you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
art.
yeah, even better if it is actually an art you believe in. I just
It's art.
don't think that's very common. Yeah.
Like, in the end of the game, it's art, and art is something that should be free and that should be viewed as art instead of just this box that you need to put art in. If it's not in that box,
Yeah,
it's not art.
I mean, look at Fear and Hunger. Are
Yeah.
you familiar with that game?
Yes, I am,
That
actually.
game has a ton of nudity in it, but
Yeah.
none of it is pornographic. It's
Yeah.
just, it is artistic
A little bit of
it is
body horror.
depraved even, but
Yeah.
it is artistically depraved, and
Like,
it's very intentional.
look at the Broodmother in Dragon Age Origins. It's this
Yeah,
giant the only word I can think of is the titty monster, but it's
yeah,
disgusting, and it's absolutely
yeah,
nasty looking, and that's the point. Sure, it's this big naked woman, but it's a disgusting looking naked woman that's being turned into this factory to produce more darkspawn. Like, that's terrifying. That's
yeah.
awful. And, like, then they discuss the lore behind it, and you're like, "Oh god, that's even worse." And they use this kind of, like, depraved idea to convey that, "Hey, the Darkspawn are awful, awful, awful creatures, and you should kill this broodmother to put it out of its misery." Like, and if you say there can't be pornography, there can't be nudity in my games, they wouldn't hit as hard.
Yeah,
Like, who's to say that they'll go that like, a game like Life is Strange, which is fairly mundane, who's to
yeah.
say that the fact that there is underbutting lesbian undertones.
Well, even more than that,
Yeah,
there's significant sexual assault
yeah,
undertones in that game.
sexual assault undertones and lesbian undertones. Who's to say that at some point a group will say, "We don't really like that in our video games. We want it to be clean." Then you wouldn't have Life is Strange, a game which a ton of people actually enjoyed and really liked. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have games like, Christ, I'm pulling blanks. You wouldn't have Last of Us. You wouldn't have Claire Obscur in a way. Like, what would Claire Obscur be if it didn't have allusions to self-harm?
And a 15-year-old girl as the protagonist,
Yeah, like
facing everyone around her dying.
yeah, like, in the first hour and a half of Claire Obscur, there's tragedy, there's a woman dying, and, allusions of self-harm, like, right
Yeah,
in that first hour and a half of the game, and it improves the experience. That's part of the story. You get to see these characters at their absolute lowest, and it does help a lot. Like, they don't go through with it, but still, that's part of the story.
yeah.
Where do we draw the line with what's clean art? Do we just want, like, Stellar Blade to be every single game?
I mean, I don't know, but I do know that I don't trust payment processors to
Yeah, I
make
don't
that
trust payment
distinction. Yeah.
processors to do it, and I think that's
But I
up
don't know what
to the
Valve could
artist.
possibly do.
Yeah,
I don't
Valve's
yeah,
powerless. Like,
yeah, they're
messaging Gabe Newell about it isn't gonna save anything because Valve can do nothing. Short
no, I mean,
of
I think
short of Gabe Newell saying, "I'm gonna make my own payment processor," there's
yeah.
nothing they could do here.
I think
It's
there are 2 paths to get through this. One of them would be through legislation. If you believe very strongly that art should not be censored, you could contact your legislator about
yeah,
it. The only other path would be, the world moving away from centralized payment processing,
yeah.
which, seems like it's kinda happening with regardless,
Yeah, it's I
but
mean, I think I just read recently that Visa is going an antitrust investigation by Japan, so that could
that's
be
happening.
the first
There's
step.
also just, like, the back end of transactions. Like, the average person will probably not notice, but the back end of most transactions are going to be based on cryptocurrency soon,
Yeah,
which will significantly depower, things like Visa and MasterCard
yeah, like,
in these situations.
these people losing their power to kinda control everything is gonna be very valuable for art and very valuable for the anti-censorship movement, and
Right.
I hate to sit here in support of, like, just utter porn, but I gotta stick my foot in the I
Gotta
gotta
crank
speak
my
up.
hog.
Yeah, I gotta stick my foot in the sand and draw the line very early well, those things still exist before they take everything. There's this old
Yeah.
poem about, like, the Holocaust, like, you gotta put your foot in the stand early and stand with, like, the first line, because that first line, once it's crossed, it doesn't really stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's the argument for, kink at Pride, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel very strongly about that too, because, like, to someone who hates everything about art, to the bigots, that weird, out there, outsider, pornographic art is all art to them. They don't make a
Mhm.
distinction between the good art that fulfills their little narrow view of what art should be, and, like, the crazy out there pornographic
Right.
art. They don't care. They hate it all. That's why they're bigots. They don't care. And I use that a lot. Like, there's historical context here. There was a very powerful Nazi party member who just happened to be gay, and he thought by, selling out all his friends and family, he'd be protected, and he ended up getting murdered anyway. Like, straight up, it doesn't matter who you are. When it comes down to people that wanna censor you, they're gonna keep going until they get their way, and they're gonna start small. That they just wanna do it in little bits so that you don't pay
Right.
attention to it.
Trying to find there's a piece of art. I can't find it. Oh, well. I'll drop it.
Yeah.
Um, any closing thoughts, I
No,
guess?
not really. This is
Yeah, I
kind
think
of
we
a
covered it.
tangential episode. It is kind of me getting on my soapbox for once and talking about how much I hate censorship, which I usually don't get to do that often. I don't get
No,
my
I mean,
soapbox episodes.
yeah. I think it's an important topic for people to be aware of. Um, and I think it is I think like I name dropped the slippery slope fallacy, and I think that's something people should always be considerate of in their reasoning.
Yeah.
But I do think that you're also a little bit right, which is that there is well, it is unclear. I when I see a group like this, I think that they are stretching their muscles.
Yeah.
They think they can win this one, and because they won this one, they will see how much more they can win, which I'm literally just describing the slippery slope fallacy, so this is tough, but
Yeah. So, like, this is the way that fascists think, though.
mhm,
And they'll start, like, small, and they'll get bigger and bigger and
yeah.
bigger until they counter enough pushback that they can stop.
They'll take their wins, and then they'll
But
cite those wins as precedent to get another win. Yeah,
yeah, they kind of just roll downhill.
yeah.
But it's a terrifying time to be an artist right now in
Mhm,
America and abroad. And knowing that if you are subversive, if you are doing art that's not exactly acceptable by the mainstream culture, or not even the mainstream culture, but like this small subculture, it's
yeah.
scary because your art could just be burnt in the fire, ripped out. If it doesn't support the party, it doesn't support your life.
I do think there's a difference between making a piece of art no longer profitable and destroying it.
Yeah,
I will point that out. There was no art destroyed by this per se.
necessarily, but it's the precedent right now. They can't
Yeah,
destroy digital art now. It's gonna
yeah.
like, all these games are still gonna be circulating. There's gonna be secondary ways to buy them, but
Right,
they've
there I mean,
destroyed a lot of
itch.io
their
is
visibility.
there are always smaller markets that the payment processors are not targeting.
Yeah.
Itch.io is full of adult games,
Yeah.
which also is a little weird to me. I wish they had better filtration because I like to play weird small indie games, and Itch.io is great for that. But there was this game that was on the front page of Itch.io for years. I think it was called Tales of Androgyny.
Oh my god.
You know this one?
No, I don't.
It was these hermaphroditic harpies, and it was just a gif of their bits flapping in the wind, like
That
for the main
sounds
page, and I was like,
that
I would
sounds
like
like my kinda art. Let's go. I'm kidding.
I'd
But
like to be able to check Itch.io on the bus, and I am not comfortable doing that because of this. But
that's me with my Steam front page, because every
yeah.
day, the new and trending games, there's gonna be at least 1 or 2 porn games.
Well, I was checking today because there's not right now.
There's
That
not?
you brought this up, and I too. Oh no, there is Harem of Lust and trending
Oh,
free,
trending free?
but
Okay.
new and trending. I don't see any adult games. Uh, in fact, the
No,
number
I
one new
see
and trending
one.
is
I
Abiotic
see
Factor.
one. New and trending. That's weird because my doing trending is different right now because at the bottom there's Milky Way.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
mine actually has
I
like a
didn't think new
pointer
and
there.
trending was customized based
I don't
on
think it is.
you.
Like,
Yeah,
I
I didn't
see a
think so. So
roguelike that came out today. These are all games that came out today.
yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
mine has
see.
Abiotic Factor on it.
Oh, it's probably because I own Abiotic Factor. Is
Ah,
your second one Hell Clock?
yeah.
Yeah, that's why. It's like Milky Way's at the bottom for me, so I guess it's
Okay,
like
so
right
if
after
I got
Abiotic
to the
Factor.
11th one, yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Okay, that makes sense because
Yep,
I don't see
that's
Abiotic
right after
Factor.
the King is watching for me. That's really
Yep.
funny.
Okay, so it is the same list, and it does automatically filter any games you own out of there, which
That's
I guess
really
that makes
Drill
sense.
Core looks good by the way.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
might
I own
actually
Drill
check.
Core too.
Oh,
Drill
is it
Core's
fun?
pretty good. Let me double check if I do. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't know it came out.
That one might be a play it on the bus kind of game for me.
Yeah, I bought it in early access
Speaking
a while ago.
I think we've kind of exhausted our topic. You want to move over to games we've been playing?
Yeah, let me see what I've been playing. I think really what I dove back into was Warframe again.
Yeah, have you been playing Soulframe? That's out, right?
I'm in the Preludes. It's not out. The Preludes just closed after TennoCon this weekend. So if you're in the
Oh,
Preludes, you're in the Preludes. I have not touched it yet. I have it downloaded. I'm in the Preludes Discord. Luckily, I can talk about the
can you
game.
talk? Okay, you
I
can
can talk
talk
about
about
the
it.
game. I cannot talk about the Discord. I cannot show the Discord.
Interesting.
I cannot reveal anything in the Preludes Discord.
Scandal.
But I can talk about the game. So once I actually
Okay.
get around to playing it, I'll probably talk
Yeah,
about
maybe
it.
next week, week after. Yeah,
But I've been playing a lot of Warframe again recently because comforting.
because it's what you do.
It's what I do. It's my life. No, I've been grinding like different bits of content, and I've reconnected with a bunch of old friends I had who also recently got into Warframe. So we've been chatting about it and playing it a bunch. They just added more content to Deviri, which is like the roguelike mode they added. So I've been trying to grind that out to get the new Warframe. I just
Yeah,
finished that grind actually, coincidentally, like
nice,
2-3 days ago. I don't have to touch
nice.
Duviri. Or no, I still have to grind out Duviri. I didn't grind out base Duviri. It's nice. It's nice having this roguelike mode where I just get to kind of create my own overpowered builds based
That
on their
sounds nice
decree
to me because
system.
one of the issues I always had with Warframe was figuring out where to go.
Yeah, they've
And
just revamped their new player experience a lot.
again,
Like to the point where it tells you exactly everything you need to know to play the game. Every single mechanic is
that's
now
good.
explained.
Destiny could learn
Um,
a thing or two.
yeah, which apparently Destiny got a DLC and it apparently
Destiny
was
did just get a
terrible. I didn't
DLC,
even
yeah.
know it
Oh,
came out. There's
really?
zero buzz.
Ammon might have
Um,
something to say about it.
yeah, but no, I've been playing a bunch. Warframe and also Warframe revealed that we're going to the Tau cluster at some point, so that's going to be an exciting quest line.
Nice.
More grinds coming up soon,
More
eventually.
grind.
They kind of put out more proto frames, so now I get to play as actual people.
Nice.
Like real humans are in the game now,
That's
but they're
weird.
like half humans. It's
Interesting.
because of the 1999 arc and everything, and I've ground out
Yeah.
most of that content too. There's just there's so much Warframe to go through. I
Yeah.
am almost at my 1,000-hour playtime mark. So,
Wow.
and I'm still behind in content. There's
That's
so
crazy.
much. It's not like that 1,000 hours was over the course of like a couple years. It's been over a decade of Warframe.
Right.
So almost
And
100
100
hours a
hours a
year
year is
isn't
not
that
crazy,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah. I could do 100. I think
I've
Monster
done
Hunter
worse.
Wilds, I have 76 hours in less than
I
a
was gonna
year.
say I got
Yeah.
like 160 hours in
Yeah,
Monster Hunter
like
Wilds, I think. Yeah.
it's not exactly that long. I know the new Wilds update launches tomorrow, so I got to dive back into that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I've been
Arch
trying to
Temper.
grind Wilds out a little bit for the Ardian grind, but I just don't have it in me.
See, I already have an essentially peak charge blade,
I'm
Ardian,
working
so
on it. It's a
I
pain.
just got really lucky with the RNG. I almost wish I hadn't because now the Ardian parts are like not that valuable to me. I need
That's
to just pick another weapon and grind it
yeah, that's
out. But
why I'm working on a great sword. Like I
my other
have
weapon that I like to use is a hunting horn, and the Ardian hunting horns aren't very good.
yeah. It's interesting. I've talked about Warframe a lot on this show. I've played a lot of
Yeah.
Warframe. It is my comfort game. It's the game I keep going back to, and they keep giving me more content to be excited about. Like,
Yeah.
I think the next Warframe's just a devil. That's it. That's his whole theming.
Yeah.
He's
There's
the
like
devil.
there's a music frame or what's the word frame?
Yeah,
Warframe?
yeah, Octavia.
Yeah.
There's also the Schwazens, which are guitars that you can buy with the in-game currency.
Huh.
And you can play music on those too, and people have a robust music creating community for it.
That's kind of sick.
So you could stop in the middle of a mission and like bust out Megalovania or something, as
I
long
always
as you
like
have
that
the
in
chart
games.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nice system. Like at this point, I'm not sure what to describe Warframe as because there's so much content that does everything differently. Like you have elements of sci-fi shooter, you have more elements of like a modern kind of setting with sci-fi elements. You have space ninjas, you have giant mechs, you have
Yeah.
space battles in a spaceship. Like you have a roguelike mode that's part of the main progression.
Yeah.
Like there's so much there, and I feel like Warframe's now that game that has content for everybody,
Yeah.
which is crazy to say, but it
Yeah,
is.
but it
It's
seems
that kind of
cool.
game. It's cool, it's awesome. The combat is probably the most fun about that game. Build
Yeah.
crafting is fun. Playing even the high difficulty content once you get an optimized build is even more fun because then your builds really shine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Similar to
it's
Monster Hunter in that way.
very
Yeah.
fun. Like I have a build that now utilizes secondary weapons, but one of my Warframes, its inbuilt ability weapon counts as a pistol and it has infinite ammo.
Wow. That's nice.
So
I always remember running out of ammo in that game. Back when I
yeah,
played it a million years
because there's
ago.
a
Like I
system called exalted weapons, which are weapons that can be summoned by abilities.
yeah.
And they usually don't have an ammo cap. They use kind of a passive energy sink, but you can mod them separately.
Yeah.
So I modded my exalted weapon for maximum fire rate, and it strips overshields and gives them to me with 8 times damage to overshields.
That's sick.
And as I do critical hits with it, since it fires so fast, it also increases my fire rate more.
Wow.
And as I get more kills, it makes my abilities stronger, which means I do
So
more damage.
is that like an RNG weapon you got, or did you build it that way?
It was built that way. Completely built that
Interesting.
way because since it's an exalted,
Mhm.
it's part of the Warframe itself's kit.
Okay.
But there's no RNG really. The only RNG is in Riven mods, and Riven mods are very hit or miss, and they aren't essential for builds as much.
Okay.
They're just icing on top if you can get a particularly spicy one. But otherwise, the RNG is just getting the right mods to drop, or if you're feeling a little loose with your pocket, you can just find it on the market and buy the mods you need or the pieces you need for your build. Which is what I did. There's some things that the grind for it's just not worth the time, and it's like 40 cents on the market, so I just dump $1 in platinum and go buy it, you know?
Yeah.
Another player's done that grind for me, and I'll just trade it for a player. I like how everything's tradable. There's a lot of things that you can just buy for
Yeah, from other
from
players.
other players. And
That's
then
cool.
if you know what you're doing, you can also just farm the paid for currency. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard of a grind either. If you're willing to grind for the premium currency, you can get everything you want. If you like that grind, then you're set. I knew a guy that was speedrunning a boss and would sell his parts for money for like actual in-game currency through the in-game systems and just had billions of it. Billions of
Hmm.
platinum. Just because he
Interesting.
was a speedrunner and he just had all these things he didn't need. So he would just sell them to people.
Yeah.
Like he did it for fun. Got a lot of in-game currency for it.
So, I think I will any final thoughts about
No,
Warframe?
not really.
I have been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Oh no.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's got a 90 on Metacritic. I think that's about right. I have played through, rolled credits. I didn't like play it really fast. Although I do think I see some fun speedrun potential. I might take a whack at the any percent run of this game. I think the But I don't know if I'm actually gonna 100% it like I did Odyssey, because boy howdy, there's a lot of nanners in this game. A lot of bananas to
A
get.
lot of nanners.
A lot of nanners. But I did like there's a lot I like about it. Obviously the terrain deformation stuff is fun and all, but it doesn't like lean on it. It never they do interesting stuff with it throughout the entire game. Like pretty much all the enemies in the game are made of terrain. So
That's
you can
crazy,
like
actually.
yeah, you can like deform the enemies, and that's a part of the game. And like the rules for deforming terrain are the same rules for the enemies. So like there's a concrete material that you can pretty much only break with your Kong Bananza power up thing. Um, and that's true. When an enemy is made of concrete, you either have to use an item or use that power up to hurt them. And if they're like concrete with spikes on it, you can't hurt them by punching them. You have to use an object from the terrain or something. You could hit them with a similarly hard substance that you can hold, or throw a bomb at them or something. And I don't know, there's just a big possibility space. I like this modern Nintendo that is I think what I'm trying to say is I feel like there's Tears of the Kingdom DNA in this game,
Yeah.
where there are systems and they just figured out all the possible fun things they could do with those systems and did it. And I think that's really cool. I think it's weird. I think you might be disappointed if you play it expecting a Super Mario Odyssey sequel. It is clearly like a lot of Odyssey DNA in it, and it is a 3D platformer and everything, but I would say that I don't think there's anything in it that feels as like creative as the captures did.
Yeah.
Necessarily. I think all the Bananza power-ups are actually torture to use. I think they're all terrible, and I hated every second of using them. But you don't have to use them that often, and that I found the game more fun by trying to avoid using them because it made it more challenging, and it is a baby game, you know?
Yeah.
If you want this to be an easy baby game, you're gonna get an easy baby game. But the way I chose to limit myself, I actually died quite a few times playing through the game because I would use a Bananza power-up as a last resort. I would try to solve every puzzle without it first, and that made it a more interesting challenge to me. And, obviously, there were exceptions to that. Like, there's this big climactic finale at the end, and, it clearly wanted me to use the Bananzas, and I just kinda let it take me for the roller coaster on that one. It was just really, really, really fun, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought the boss fights in general were pretty good because all the enemies are made of terrain, essentially. There was a lot of, like, climbing up bosses, and I always like that in a game. Uh, the first, like, 3 or 4 bosses are, like, painfully easy, but then you refight them later in the game, and this is one of the few instances where I think that refighting a boss was really good because the second time around, they were a little more difficult, so you actually got to kinda enjoy the fight. Just kind of a smart game. I think it maybe lacks the whimsy of Super Mario Odyssey. It had that kinda whimsical globe-trotting adventure vibe to it, and Bonanza is more of a journey to the center of the earth kinda thing. It has its own sort of whimsy, but I don't know. It felt more serious, I guess, somehow. I don't know, but it definitely was goofy as well. I don't know. It definitely it's such a hard game to compare to Odyssey. I think it's weaker in some ways, but stronger in others. I think if I was gonna sit down and replay one of them, I would pick Bonanza every time. It does something really smart, which is that the bananas are not tied to progression at all, as far as I can tell.
That's
You,
actually crazy for a Donkey Kong game.
yeah, you don't have to you could play through the entire game. I imagine there's probably 1 or 2 bananas that you, like, pick up through just the story, but it never, like, content gates you and checks how many bananas you have. You can just they're, like, totally optional. They give you, a skill, I mean, which, of course, I hated. There's, like, a skill tree that you can use the bananas to get skills in and, increase your, possibility space, your skills you have access to. But I don't know, I bet there's even bonanzas you could skip, if you're playing really smart. I'm not certain of that, but that's why I'm excited about the idea of the speedrun, is there's really no fluff in the speedrun. It would just be a straightforward run through the game, through all these areas, having, playing just the killer, none of the filler, having a good time. I did, though. I did my entire playthrough. I went off the beaten path. I gathered a lot of bananas. I think I had over 450 some by the time I completed the game, out of 700 some, I think. So, very fun game. Recommended highly if you've got a Switch too. Don't know if I'd call it a system seller necessarily. It's so hard coming off a Clair Obscur to judge the quality of a game when you play a masterpiece like that. No other game looks that good in comparison.
Yeah, it's hard. Clair Obscur has really like altered my view of games, even though I haven't played it in a little bit. I've been busy. It's hard.
Yeah, it just
Hard being
it
busy.
stands tall. It is difficult. Like I almost laugh. I saw an article like that was like, "Do we already know Game of the Year 2025?" And it was like, we've already seen such hits as Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2, and Clair Obscur. And I'm like, don't you dare put those games in the same sentence as Clair Obscur.
Yeah,
like,
it's like far and above, I think, my favorite game I played this year. And I haven't even gotten so deep into it. I just know it's gonna be a banger.
It's just peak. But yeah, back to the topic at hand. Donkey Kong is good. Highly recommend. I think a 9 out of 10. The 90 out of 100 Metacritic. I think that's exactly right for it.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I'm actually stopping myself from playing it right now because I have a bus ride Friday, for like 4 or 5 hours on the bus, and that is going to be some peak Donkey Kong time. I think that does it for us this week, right?
Yeah, I have nothing else to talk about. I stood on my soapbox, talked about Warframe. Man, I'm so back.
Yeah, we're so back.
I think next
I want to
week
thank
Emma will be
everybody for
back.
listening. Like, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you would like to do that. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Join our Discord.
Yeah, join our Discord, please.
We have new people. It's lively.
Yep. We're getting a pretty decent sized community on there.
If I said anything that made you mad, join there and tell me how wrong I am. I promise I won't yell at you.
That's where we'll actually answer. If you comment places, we might not even see it.
Yeah, we usually don't. We don't see our comments as much, but our Discord is
I check the comments every couple weeks just to check the temperature. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks for listening.
Yep. See
you all
guys next week.